Hey, okay, so this is workout 1 of 3. We're gonna start with one-legged sit-to-stands and rows. So everything's gonna be in a superset. You can do 2 to 3 rounds of 10 reps, unless I say otherwise. And so you're gonna need a bench to start with, and either a row machine or dumbbells. So our first two are the one-leg sit-to-stand and the row. So for your sit-to-stand, remember, we want to make sure that we keep our hips in an even position. So we don't want to be hyperextended in the back, but we also don't want too much of a posterior tilt either. So you want to find that like neutral hip position. And then once you find it, you have your pelvis in that neutral position. You're not tipping forward or back, but it's even. Then we're going to go one leg to the bench, coming down nice and slow. So to begin, you can start with your standing on one leg, and then the other leg is just a light toe tap. So you're not really using that leg specifically, but it's just to aid for balance, so you can keep your hips stable and control the down, come all the way into a seated position, and then drive through the leg on the floor to come back up. Once that feels comfortable, then you can try out just coming down with the one leg, even, control, and then lift the foot to come back up. And then if that feels good, then you can do both ways. So coming down, again, keeping your pelvis neutral the whole way down, sitting on the box, and then driving back through your leg to come back up. So what we want to make sure we don't do, one, when we're coming down, you don't want to control, and then plop. And then number two, we don't want to thrust our whole body to get ourselves back up. Okay, it should be controlled both directions, up and down, very smooth, no dropping or overarching to go either direction. Okay, so we want to make sure ribs stay over hips, hips stay in alignment. We come down, that knee stays strong and is pointing straight ahead. It's not wobbling or too far out, too far in. Okay, nice alignment every direction. 10 on the one leg, and then switch, go to the other side, same thing. So if you find that one side is harder to do than the other side, just do on the strong side what you can do on your weak side. So we want to balance them out. So if you can only control up and down with using assistance with the one side, just do that on the other side as well, and then just maybe add 2 more reps on the side that seems harder to do for you. That way we can start to kind of balance out some of those asymmetries. So then we're going to go to a row after that. So after you do 10 on each leg, you're going to come down to the floor if you're doing a row with a cable machine, or you can do an actual row machine if you're at the gym. And if you don't have either, if you're doing it at home and you want to just use dumbbells, you can just do a bent row is fine with dumbbells. So, but for now, I'm just going to show you with the cable machine. So we'll make sure that we're sitting on our sits bones. We're going to be up nice and tall. Lower abs are slightly engaged. Want to make sure our shoulders are not up by our ears. We're just going to relax them. We're also not driving them down, so we're not overusing our lats, but we're just relaxing our shoulders. So that's our start position. From here, we're just going to engage our middle back and low traps as we pull back, pause, and then straighten back out. So we're keeping the upper body quiet. We're using our lower traps, pausing in the back, coming back in under control, and we do 10 reps of that. By your 10th rep, it should feel challenging. You shouldn't feel like you can keep going. If you feel like you can keep going after 10, then increase your weight. But if you can't quite get to 10 and keep this controlled manner, then drop your weight. One thing to remember and be mindful of too is that it's not about how far back you can pull your arms when you do this. So what I don't want to see is when you pull back that you're trying to get your elbows extra far back, because it's almost like just the elbows come just past maybe the side of your body, and you really feel in your back squeezing together. So what tends to happen a lot of times is people come back, they think that they should do more, and they pull back this way, and that just drives your shoulder forward, and that can pinch a lot of that musculature in the front of your shoulder, and it can make your shoulder cranky. So we want to avoid that. So just pulling back, keeping that engagement, because again too, once you get too far back, you kind of lose it anyway. So just pulling, pause, straighten out, 10 reps, and then go back to your sit to stands, and we'll do 3 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds, whatever feels best for you. Work up to the 3 rounds. So the next 2 are gonna be with your sliders. We're gonna do, and if you don't have sliders, you can just use a ball, stability ball under your legs, but we're gonna do eccentric hamstring curls, and as well as we're gonna pair that up with a slow lowering push-up. So for our eccentric hamstring curl, you're gonna have your heels on your sliders, or again, if you had a ball, you could just put your heels up on the ball. So you're gonna lay down on your back. We wanna relax our rib cage down so that we have no gaps in our low back. If the rib cage is flared, a lot of times you'll be able to, I don't know if you can tell or not, but if my ribs are flared, I can stick my whole arm under here. We don't want that, so we wanna keep our rib cage down, and then now I eliminate that gap in the low back. Okay, so rib cage stays down, and it should stay down the whole time. We're gonna squeeze our glutes, come up into that glute bridge. Okay, again, I didn't allow my ribs to flare up. We keep the rib cage down, keep the ribs and hips connected, and then slow, 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 we're just gonna straighten the legs out. Keep your glutes really strong and tight the whole way out. We come to a straight line, we're relaxed on the ground, slide your heels back in, rib cage stays down, glutes squeeze, lift up, and then slow lowering all the way back out. So you get to full extension with your legs, slide in, ribs down, glute squeeze, keep squeezing your glutes as you extend those legs out, going slowly down and come back in. So again, you're gonna do 10 of those reps, nice and slow and controlled, keeping the rib cage relaxed. And then you're gonna go to your slow lowering push-up. So for slow lowering push-up, we're just gonna have our hands always spreading your fingers really wide, which is gonna give you a better base for your wrists so they won't hurt as much. So spreading the fingers wide, you're gonna almost think about like screwing your hands into the floor, which is gonna put more stability into your wrists and your shoulders. And then we're gonna pop our legs up so we're in that perfect plank position. Head is in line with our spine. And then keeping the elbows in, we're just gonna lower our body super slow all the way to the ground. Chest hits, drop your knees, then press up. So you're just doing like a knee push-up on a regular push-up. Extend the legs, and again, elbows in, slow lowering. Aim for like 5 seconds or so down, and then come back up from here. So when you're coming back up, make sure that you're engaging your abs before you push up, so you're not just getting that arch in the low back. So once again, we're having that plank position. You're maintaining the plank. Big thing here, squeeze those glutes really tight the whole way down so the core stays engaged. Then keep your glutes tight, the core tight as you press back up. Straighten the knees and repeat. So you're gonna do 10 reps of that, go back to the hamstring curls, and then alternate 2 or 3 rounds. The next one you're gonna do is a static lunge. So we're just gonna stay in a static position. I want your legs to be fairly close. So if you were to have a line on the floor, your right leg, your big toe will be on the one side of the line, and then your back foot is gonna be just off of the line as well. So we're gonna try to be in that as very narrow as possible. It's gonna challenge your balance. And then, so from here, we again, just like we did with the sit to stand, keep your hips in a neutral position. So a lot of times people wanna dump forward with their pelvis. So we wanna make sure we're keeping the glute nice and strong. As we come down, we're maintaining a good upper body position, and then coming back up nice and strong. So this hip pushes back to the back wall as I lower down, and then come back up. So from the side, again, I'm having a more narrow stance versus a wider stance. And I'm thinking about this hip pushing back to the back wall as I lower down, and then coming up nice and strong. All my focus and attention is on this front leg. This other leg really isn't doing too much, but except for assisting in your stability. So you're gonna do 10 of those. If body weight feels super easy after 10, again, going nice and controlled both up and down, then you can start adding a weight. You could either do just a weight on the same side leg, or you can do double dumbbells and do the same thing. Again, just wanting to make sure that we keep the knee straight, that it's not dipping in. You should be able to see your big toe as you come down and go back up, okay? So again, you'll do all 10 reps on one leg, all 10 reps on the other leg, and then we're gonna go into a side plank clam. So modified side plank clam. So we're gonna be in that 90-degree angle with our arm. Our knees are in a bent position as well. We're gonna start by relaxing the shoulder or pulling the shoulder almost down towards like your ribs before you pop up. So we get that oblique to engage. You're gonna squeeze your glutes and lift your hips. So I want you to keep your glutes super tight as you do this, and you're just gonna lift the top knee and then bring it back down. So again, our focus is on squeezing our glutes and then having the oblique on that bottom engaged the whole time we do these. So ideally, you know, if you get to 10 and you're like, that wasn't so bad, then maybe do 5 more and just go nice and slow and controlled. We do that on one side, and then you're gonna flip and do the same thing on the other side. So again, we're taking that shoulder so it's not up in our ear. We wanna push away from the floor, but then also like draw this down towards your hip, or almost think about like, you can almost think about like your elbow is kind of pulling in towards your hip, which will also engage those muscles too. So we're gonna squeeze the glutes nice and tight as we lift up. So we wanna make sure we're not like left hanging back here. We wanna squeeze those glutes and push the hips through. And then once we're in that position, keep squeezing that bottom glute and keep engaging this core here as we lift that top knee up, pause at the top, come back down. You're gonna do 10 reps, if it's easy, 15, and just, we're not trying to breeze through, okay, nice and controlled, pause at the top, come back down, keeping that bottom glute nice and tight the whole time, okay? Alternate back and forth between the lunge and the side plank clams. And then the last grouping we have is back extensions and then a lacrosse ball calf raise. So for these, we're gonna do 15 back extensions and we're gonna do 30 calf raises. So 15 back extensions. This one, we're just gonna lay on our belly, put our arms up, feet are gonna stay together. Our head is gonna be, put your forehead on the ground and then just lift your head up a little bit so your head is in line with your spine. I'm gonna have you squeeze your glutes and then you're gonna lift your upper body, pause for 2 seconds and come back down. You're gonna keep your head off the ground the whole time, but keep squeezing. So when you come back down, you can relax your glutes if you want, but squeeze the glutes, lift, 1, 2, and relax. Squeeze, lift, 1, 2, and relax. Squeeze, lift, 1, 2, and relax. Squeeze, lift. And now when we lift, we're reaching out through our fists and squeezing our glutes, okay? And our arms are kind of in like a Y position, and then come back down. So you'll do 15 of those. You'll really feel that in the erectors and the lower back area. There shouldn't be any strain. If you feel like you're arching too much, you can roll up a towel and put it underneath your hips and do it that way, so it kind of just gives you a little bit of a boost. But typically, if you squeeze your glutes nice and tight and maintain that as you lift, it will take a lot of that pressure off your low back. Okay, and then you're gonna, after you do 15 of those, you're gonna stand up. You're gonna take like a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, and you're gonna place it right below your ankles, but between your feet, okay? And you're gonna stand on a box or a step or something. If you don't have anything, then you could just do it off of the floor too, that's fine. But you're gonna stand on the edge of the box with the lacrosse ball between your feet. You can hold on to something for balance if you need to, but you're gonna come all the way up, make sure you're pushing through your big toes at the top, and then when you lower back down, you're gonna come below the box height, so we can really work that mobility in the ankles as well as getting calf strength through that full range of motion. So all the way up, all the way down, Nice and controlled both directions, and your feet are just kind of, your heels are kind of squeezing into the ball as you do those raises. And again, our glutes are a little bit tight. We're keeping our body in a perfectly upright position, and our knees are straight for this exercise, okay? So 30 of those, and then you'll come back to your back extensions and do the back extensions and then the calf raises, and you'll go back and forth maybe 2 to 3 times. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions and let me know how it goes. Thanks.